In problem number 5, we see that our coefficients for x are 3 and negative 6. Since they're not the same value, we're going to have to change the equations to make them the same. So when we look at 3 and 6, I know that I can multiply 3 times 2 to get 6, so I am going to multiply this first equation by 2. When we do that, I get 6x plus 2y equals negative 4. Make sure that when you are multiplying an equation by a number, you are multiplying each of the terms. The second equation can stay the same. Negative 6x minus 3y equals 6. And then we can see that our coefficients of x are 6 and negative 6. Since the signs are different, we are going to use addition. And again, just like the previous problems, I like to box out my individual terms to help me to see the 3 individual problems I will be doing. 6x plus negative 6x will cancel out. 2y plus negative 3y gives us negative y. And negative 4 plus 6 gives us 2. When we divide both sides by negative 1, we see that our y value is equal to negative 2. To find the corresponding y value, or the corresponding x value, we will substitute the y value back into either of the original equations. I will use the first equation, 3x plus our negative 2 is equal to negative 2. Simplifying, we get 3x minus 2 equals negative 2. When we add 2 to both sides, we see 3x equals 0. Therefore, even when dividing by 3, our x value will be equal to 0. So for number 5, our x value is 0, our y value is negative 2. As an ordered pair, we would write it 0, negative 2. So in number 5, since our coefficients were not the same for either of our sets of variables, we needed to change one equation to make them the same. We saw that 3 times 2 could give us our 6, like we had for our coefficient of x in the second equation. So we multiplied each term in the first equation by 2, which allowed us to add our equations to get rid of our x term. Because the coefficients of x are negative 8 and negative 4, I'm going to multiply the second equation by 2. That will give us negative 8x minus 18y equals 36. And leaving the first equation alone, because we already have a negative 8x, we can just copy down the terms as they appear. Because the signs are same, I am going to have to subtract to make the x terms cancel out. And again, I find it helpful to put boxes around my like terms so that we can treat this as 3 individual problems. Negative 8x minus negative 8x will be 0. 3y minus negative 18y will give us 21y. And negative 6 minus 36 gives us negative 42. Solving for y, we divide both sides by 21, and we see that our y value is equal to negative 2. Just like in our previous problems, to find the corresponding x value, we will substitute in the y value of negative 2 into either of the 2 original equations. I'm going to use the first one, negative 8x plus 3 times negative 2 equals negative 6. Simplifying, I get negative 8x minus 6 equals negative 6. When we add 6 to both sides, we get negative 8x equals 0. And then dividing by 8, we would see that our x value then is also equal to 0. Therefore, our x value is 0. Our y value is 2, which we can write as an ordered pair 0, 2.